It's time for overrated, underrated, or underrated, overrated. Can't remember which way I said it last time, but there we go. Where we pick out a Manchester United player from the past or the current squad and decide between us whether he was underrated or overrated. Last week I went first, so this is a surprise for both of us whenever we do this. So I'm going to let Ahmad go first this time.
Yeah.
And first off, we're going to start with some clues as to who that player could be, and then we will get into whether they were overrated or underrated. So, Ahmed, off
All
you go.
right. Okay, so yeah, player I have for you. He played 11 years at United with
11 years.
265 appearances and 62 goals.
62 goals.
Oof.
Is it Hernandez?
No.
No? Oof. Okay, I need another clue.
Another clue. Okay. He was England captain. Another.
Is England captain? Michael Carrick. Wayne Rooney?
No.
What? This is a good one.
Nah.
England captain. Is it a Premier League player?
Yeah.
Premier League? Yeah.
Okay. He's a Premier player. So he was in the Premier League. Yeah.
He played in the Premier League. Did he play?
Yeah.
Did he play in the first division?
Yeah, he played for United 265 times.
I know, but did he play in the first division before Sky took over and turned it into the Premier League?
No.
Right. Okay. All right. England captain. Oh, David Beckham.
Yeah. Nice.
Right. There we go.
Tough one.
There we go. I completely.
A lot of people forget he was England captain, to be honest.
Yeah. That foxed me. The 62 goals was a decent return.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, no, go for it. Like I'm interested. Like I chose him because like I personally I didn't watch him a lot.
Okay.
There's always a narrative around him, so I'm curious to get your point of view.
Okay, it's a good one. I've met Beckham. You've seen the photo of me with ginger hair, right? When I met Beckham at the Cliff training ground when I was about 13 or 14. So we're best mates, obviously, since that day.
Yeah, you can't let that influence your decision.
I know exactly. That's what I'm worried about right now. So I'm trying to think about it. No, I would say he was. This is a good one. I would say, because there's no middle ground with this. I would say I'm going to say he was underrated at United. I'm going to say he was underrated. I think we didn't realise what was going to happen when he left. Like his contributions in terms of assists and what he did on the pitch. I think when he kind of fell out with Fergie and it all became a bit, he's the Spice Boy and he's going to be doing this, and he got a bit big-headed off the pitch with certain like campaigns with Adidas and Brill Cream and all the rest of it. I remember at the time it was like, the first time anyone had seen this, and he was becoming like a star in his own right, which was, insane at the time, pre-social media. And it was all over the newspapers, and it was all a bit weird, like having that. But week in, week out, he was playing brilliantly. Like he was so effective. I mean, you've seen the documentary, right? You've seen the Netflix documentary. So I still remember that fondly. And I think the one thing that fans at the time, as I remember it, and I could be wrong, this was just my experience of it, but when it was like he's going to Real Madrid, it was like, let him go then. Let him go. We'll move on. We'll be better without him. And as I remember it, there was an adjustment period where we wasn't quite as good without him, and it did feel like we did have this void. And seeing him in the white of Real Madrid was basically a kick in the stomach. That's what it felt like to me, anyway. And I think fans then realised when he was out there, because he didn't have a great time at Real Madrid, but fans realised that we'd missed something. The famous phrase, obviously, you don't know what you got till it's gone, and I think he perfectly fits that. I was sad to see. I wasn't that sad to see him go when he initially left because he'd fallen out. But then when he did leave, and you don't get those cracking set pieces anymore, I think that was that then proved that he was underrated and his contribution to what Manchester United were doing. So yeah, I'm going to say underrated.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's difficult, obviously, because you were. How old was you when he made his debut? When did he make his debut?
I don't think I was born yet.
Nothing like that. Like a cold bucket of water thrown over me to show my age, mate. David Beckham.
Yes.
There we go. When did he make his debut? 1992. I was 11.
Yeah. So you're still a kid. Yeah, were you?
Yeah. But I think fans would probably agree that he was underrated.
No, the thing is, like, maybe the only people who would maybe properly rate him are United fans, but like in general, football fans they always seem to say he was one of the most they don't just say he was overrated; they say he was one of the most overrated players ever for some reason.
Right. Okay. So if we're going to use that type of jump-off point, from a Manchester United perspective, I can sit here and I can say he was underrated in terms of what he brought to the team. But for other fans, they hated him. For all the reasons that we loved him, they hated him. You saw what happened after he kicked his leg out at Diego Simeone and got sent off.
Yeah.
They were putting up like effigies of him around the cities in the UK, hanging him from lampposts, and all the papers turned on him, the media turned on him, fans were booing him at every game. Like they would 100% say he was overrated. But that's the beauty of the tribalism of being a football fan, right? You always kind of protect your own.
I get it. Yeah, but like even that like witch hunt that they had on him, I thought it was ridiculous. But because it's not like England lost that game like convincingly because he got sent off. They got to penalties and they lost some penalties. It would have happened with or without him. So I don't know. They just wanted someone to blame, and it was like way over the top. Everyone, I think, like when a few years passed by, everyone realized that it was like just ridiculous. But at United, I think he was really, really good. I think he was really, really good. Like I said, I didn't get to watch him properly, but I always like to like properly look back at these players to form a decision for myself. And I thought he was underrated. I thought he was very underrated because like all the major moments that we had, like even every title charge, every like I can't like just sit here and judge as if I've watched every single 90 minutes he had. The only thing I can do like is see what he actually contributed to the big moments that we had in his time. And like every time you look, for example, the 1999 final, Champions League final, it was the two corners were from him, and even the first corner he won that first corner throughout, and he was playing center midfield. He was covering at center mid because Keane and Scholes were suspended. And the goal he scored against Spurs when we turned the game around, even the same season. Like people seem to forget like a lot of moments that he had. The set pieces, his crosses from the right for Cole, for York, for Van Nistelrooy. He scored a lot of goals. Yeah, he was definitely underrated. But I think what made him underrated, what made people think he was overrated was, like you said, because of the general idea of him becoming like this star, focusing more on things off the pitch. But yeah, like I said, it never affected him on the pitch. But yeah,
he's. I mean, all of those players from that era, like your Keane, your Scholes, your Jesper Blomqvist, like all of those players from that era should be setting an example to what that team should be like now, because it's a pure contrast. One of the things that characterised Beckham was like whenever he lost the ball as a United fan, these were the things that you always see. And there's probably a highlights reel of it somewhere on YouTube right now. But when he lost the ball, his determination to get back and get that ball back was like unsurpassed. Like he would put that effort in, he would get that ball back. And I remember watching him against England, Greece. I think it's on the documentary, but if you do get the chance to go back and watch that game, he's doing everything in that game. He's wearing the captain's armband. He scored the vital goal that took us through. Like he's doing absolutely everything in that game, and he's winning the ball. Like you just don't get that from certain players these days. Ugarte is probably the closest. Bruno Fernandes tries to do it as well, but he's just not quick enough to catch up to players. But yeah, that's what we need more of. Anyway, should we move on to mine?
Let's
overrated, underrated. Okay. So this player began his career at Lyon.
Began his career at Lyon. Is that Martial?
It is Martial. Well done, mate. Well done. Fantastic. I need to make these more difficult.
Absolutely.
I think you almost guessed it on the first try last week.
Yeah. Second clue gave it away last week, but yeah, this week. Yeah.
I should have said he began his career at Lyon B, but I think you still probably would have got it.
I would have got it.
The next clues were 209 games and 63 goals, and then had one of the most popular songs from Old Trafford whenever he scored. Tony Marshall scores again. Here we go then, mate. I feel like Martial has turned into the ultimate Marmite player. You either love him or you don't. So where are you landing on this one?
The only reason I'd say underrated was because he used to get unnecessary slack. I can only say, I can only judge from a United fans, like a United fan base perspective. I think he was underrated because he had really good seasons. Like he had good seasons, and I think his attitude let him down, I would say. But regardless, he used to contribute a lot. Like even his first season, and I think because of his attitude, sometimes it came off wrong. But like some managers, they used to, I don't say let him down, but they used to, what is it? For example, when Jose came in and like he took the number 9 from him without even asking him. Like these things, they're undermining, like especially for a young kid who's in a new country, still like learning these things. Yet maybe these things affected him, but under Ole, he had like a good stint. Under Jose as well, to be honest. Like Jose's first season, I think he had a really good time, and yeah, I think he was underrated. He scored how many goals? 62.
63 in 209 games, which is not a terrible return.
Yeah, I think it's just the injuries. The injuries let him down. Like he used to get injured way too often. But and with the expectations that we had for him when he first, because of the price tag first of all, and then because of his performances when he first came in, everyone was like, okay, yeah, like this is like a kid that we can actually depend on going forward. And then, like I said, it's tough. It's tough to judge a player post Ferguson. Honestly, it's really tough because like the instability that comes with it, the change of systems, the change of managers, this change of everything. A player can never reach their potential because of all of that. But even with that, I would say he had some decent seasons.
I think I think Martial was, because of the way that he was and his attitude and things. I think he's judged unfairly. I think he was in that system or in that foundation at Manchester United that's only just recently changed. So it chews people up, players, managers, coaches, and then spits them out. And they always come out worse for wear. Look at Sancho, look at Lingard, look at Rashford currently. Like, there is no set standards across the club. And, Mourinho got turfed out, Van Gaal turfed out, Ten Hag turfed out. And players like Martial, he struck me as that player that needed the arm around the shoulder more than he needed the carrot more than the stick. And you could see he needed that. He needed it every game, every single game. And he had massive potential, and I think he could have been one of our best strikers, but as you say, curtailed by injuries, then recuperating in a terrible, toxic environment as we understand it at Old Trafford and Carrington. And then when he gets on the pitch, barely does anything, not booed by fans, but just the groans when he wasn't really managing to get anywhere. And yeah, he kind of faded out. And now he's at AEK, Athens, I think he's at now. Which, I don't know, it's a sad end to his career, I would say. Even though he's still playing, I'd say it's a sad end to his career to have gone out the way he did, because he didn't play in his last season, did he, at United? I don't think he played did he play like 1 or 2 games, got injured, and then announced that he was leaving? Probably about this time last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he just came on for a few games. Yeah. He kept on getting injured.
6 months.
Yeah, it just kept on getting. Even then, he was injured. I don't know if he was just faking an injury because he doesn't want to play. But it just, he was injured. I can't remember him having a single appearance for United last season. Although he did score 1 game. I remember he did score 1 goal. Yeah. It was like a cross. I think it was in a League Cup or something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's official, underrated.
Like slightly underrated, not like underrated,
But both of those players that we chose both wore the number 7 shirt, right?
No,
did Martial get the 7 shirt?
Martial 9 and 11.
Oh yeah. Oh, 11. Yes. Pardon me. Yes, it was 11 that he had. And every time they got, there was that period of time. Sorry, I know I'm going off tracking, but there was that period of time when it mattered so much to fans who was getting 11 and 7 and 9 and 10. I couldn't tell you who's number 7 right now or 11. I couldn't even tell you.
I'm sure you're not going to be able to tell me number 7 because he never plays.
Oh God, this is a good test. It wasn't Anthony, was it?
No.
Number 7 never plays. Did they give it back to David Beckham, or did they just retire it? Number 7. Number 7.
Is Luke Shaw's best mate.
Luke Shaw's best mate? Rashford? Luke Shaw's best mate?
Should I just say?
Put me on my this week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Mason Mount.
Oh God, Mason Mount. Yeah. Wow, the forgotten man of Old Trafford.
Exactly.
Well, as you can see, my memory is almost at full capacity, so I need to move on to the next section before I need to reboot.